I gave up work just due to the fact that I wasn't coping, the pain was too much for me, um, and I wouldn't be a reliable person. I couldn't hold down a job. Each day's so different. I don't know what way I'm going to be. Um, I think it's affected me as well with family as a wife and mum and things, because I can't do the things that I would have hoped to have been able to do.
I basically went through up until I was 21, I think, was when I was diagnosed. I just went through life thinking, well, like this is my own brain causing this pain, so there's no point in talking about it or going to the doctor or anything like that.
I'm 52. It was not part of my plan. I've got young grandchildren. The oldest one is 8 next week, and I can't run and kick a ball. I can barely stay awake enough to get to the park, never mind run and kick a ball. So it is life-changing.
I had to work through the grieving process from there, and then from the grieving process, learn to accept. Once I kind of reached acceptance, I bounced in between the different levels of the grieving process, but eventually I reached that point of complete acceptance, where I then learned to self-manage, or learned to manage myself, because I also learned that you're not going to get, nobody can manage it for you. You can only manage it for yourself. You can get support, but unless you apply the support, it's not going to happen. You're not going to manage it.
I do ask myself, what are these drugs doing for me apart from poisoning me? Controlled poisoning.
I'm not a massive fan of a lot of the standard fibromyalgia treatment options of mindfulness. It's never worked for me, and it feels patronizing, and it kind of feels like it's all in your head, so just stop thinking about it.
Some of the staff were nice, but to be honest, the NHS was actually the worst place. I think a lot of staff, even though they're qualified nurses and doctors, were very dismissive of it. And there's a lot of comments and things I've heard over the years been made to myself and about other people that suffer from it, which I'll never ever forget, and it'll always stay with me.
More understanding from medical professionals. I feel like there's a lot of reliance on medication, whereas like there are other things that medical professionals could suggest that actually will cost the NHS nothing, like advising about TENS machines, or support like the chronic pain management program, resting. I feel like there are so many different avenues that doctors could just almost tell us from the outset that would help us, instead of having to try and figure it out over years.
A lot of the time doctors don't know a lot about fibromyalgia, and that is fine to not know, because it isn't the most well-known condition, and even people who study it, no one fully knows what it is or what it does. So I think it's important for doctors to admit that they don't know everything, because I don't expect them to know everything, but when they go in with the mindset of I have to know everything and I have to know how to fix it in this 10-minute appointment, then it doesn't always work very well.
Everything comes down to education, educating the young medical students, and also educating the older, or even our generation still, in the medical profession, don't believe that fibromyalgia exists, and I think that's the key. Until there's an educational pathway that teaches, and it's not just a 20-minute in a however many years a medical student trains for, it's just not just a 20-minute talk.
With disabilities, my lived experience is always going to be something that they can never understand, but especially with conditions that aren't as well known, like fibromyalgia, then I'm very likely to know as much as they know, or to have stuff fresher in my mind than they might, because they might have only done one lesson on it years ago.
Awareness, a lot more for medical professionals, nursing and doctor staff, just as awareness, because I was working on wards before I went off sick. The comments and some of the things I've heard from nursing staff over the years towards patients that had fibromyalgia, even before I knew what it was myself, before I even ever had heard of it, I now think back and think, if that's what they have no clue what it actually is and how it feels. When you're first diagnosed, you do feel like life might be over, you know, but it really isn't. I think the whole learning curve is learning how to live a new life, a different life, and the key is support. I wouldn't probably be have managed without the support network I have, through the support group I attend.
I would love to see in the future a non-addictive medication that helps with the pain. That would be amazing. I'm kind of trying not to just pin all my hopes on it and just be like, actually, for now, this is the lot that we've got. That's okay. I need to just find ways to move through it until hopefully something might become available, even if it's in like 30 or 40 years' time.